Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike, the only wrestling podcast that might get canceled one day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with my distinct pleasure and honor to bring you a day one guy, a guy that you haven't seen in quite some time. The man is working to the bone. He's a busy man, but ladies and gentlemen, making his return to Mouthing Off with Mike, I've got good brother Jordan here today. Welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike, good brother Jordan. A little too sweet for welcome back. How are we feeling, my man?
Last time you saw me here, this was all the disgusting mess. Now we're just here. We feel good. Wrestling's been great. I couldn't be more thrilled to be back, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Dude, thanks for setting some time aside to chop it up with your best friend. I claim myself as your best friend. It's a bold move here. Facts. Brother. I'm trying to be like you with that mustache, but the people got to subscribe to Mouthing Off with Mike. Folks, we only need, like 70 subscribers, so subscribe.
How
it's
handsome
free.
Is this? How handsome is this? Let brother
and
Mike
you're
get
me
one.
with the Dirty
Come
Dom
on.
stash.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tell the people, Jordan, you want to see Mouthing Off with Mike with the stash. They want
The
it.
stash is all the rage. Get the man the subscriber so he can join the trend.
See? We got Jordan. We got good brother Jordan on Stash Brigade. We've got Dirty Dom on Stash Brigade. That's great company to be in, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you see do the people see what Dom's doing out there? I mean, come on. The resume speaks for itself. Come on.
The resume speaks for itself.
Come on.
We'll get into that and much more here on Mouthing Off with Mike today. So as you guys know, I'm trying to test things out. I'm changing the script. I'm already doing essentially nightly recaps with the Nightcap on Boom Broadcasting, so I don't feel that it's necessary for me to rehash everything that I've already talked about. So that's why I decided, this week we're going to just touch on some key points across WWE and AEW. And good brother Jordan here, he wanted to join in on the conversation, and I've missed him, quite honestly. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. So good brother Jordan, we're going to start things off nice and easy. All right? I'm going to ease you into it. You know how I like to do things here.
Talk to me.
So the first conversation that I want to get into is this past week on Monday Night Raw, we saw the return match of Daddy DeVille, Sonya Deville. She took on Zelina Vega. And Zelina Vega took to Twitter this week and said, she's just looking for a chance. She feels that she's not getting chances. Good brother Jordan, I think we need to give Zelina Vega a chance because back in 2023, she was the crowd favorite in Puerto Rico. And ever since then, I thought her stock was going to continually rise. But it seems now WWE is back to their old ways. What's going on? Do you want to see Zelina Vega get an opportunity to run with the ball?
It almost feels like, maybe I'm crazy, but like you've seen it happen with guys like Ricochet and a guy like Chad Gable. They pick up momentum, crowds behind them, they're hot, they're winning, and they start losing a couple losses. It starts with the one big loss for Zelina. It's Puerto Rico. She had her big moment there, and then after that it was kind of just like, she's been in good storylines. Don't get me wrong. She's been, touching shoulders with the world champ too. She's in the mix. Maybe right now their main, obviously the main focus being Liv and Rhea. I don't want her to be an afterthought though. She's great in the ring. She can cut a damn good promo. I think she's got all the tools. So I'm hoping she gets another chance. I think if they implement the women's mid-card championships, like we've seen online, there's a little chatter. Yeah, exactly. So, I think once those get implemented, the women's roster is as deep as it can be. So I think it's going to benefit women like her, once that gets introduced. Maybe try to put her in her tag team. Unfortunately, we see how the tag division's not always, the strongest booked. I think she'll be fared better off in a mid-card championship setting. So maybe we get that down the road.
I agree with you, Jordan, and it really is a damn shame because I really thought that was going to be that moment maker for her, right? Crowd absolutely backing her, no shadow of a doubt. That's their girl, right? And I think she's criminally underrated right now. I think WWE really needs to let her get the ball and run with it. She even said it in her tweet. She's like, just give me the effing ball, and if I fumble, if I drop it, then so be it. But at least I got a shot. She's been with the company for quite some time now, dude. Like, she has been with the company for, I want to say almost eight,
I was gonna
9
say,
years.
yeah, absolutely.
At least, right? She popped up on the scene like 2016, 2017 NXT.
Yeah.
So, you're 7-8 years in here. I don't understand why it's start and stop with some of the women. We've seen it a few times, like you said, and it scares me, especially because we've seen NXT women's call-ups. Some of them make it, like Lyra Valkyria, and some of them don't, like a Kiana James, and I don't want that to happen to Zelina. But I agree as well that if there is mid-card women's titles coming, Zelina Vega is a great candidate for that championship.
Girls like her, girls like Kiana James, you can get Natalia back in the fold now that she's resigned. There's plenty of underutilized superstars that, would benefit from that. I would almost say Zelina Vega, if she want, maybe do like a little NXT singles run, but they got women that they're trying to build. So it's like,
right.
You got to find that happy balance. But luckily with the Triple H regime, it seems like they'll throw shit at a wall and hope it, and they'll see what sticks. So I don't think it's out of the realm that she'll get a chance. But right now, I think there's just bigger storylines in play where she's just, not going to be phased in the big spots yet.
That's fair. I mean, we've seen it with Michin. Michin went back to NXT and gained serious crowd support. She looks damn good. I think she's another woman that's on that pipeline where it's like, look, give her the ball and let her run. There's a lot of women. I even talked about
she's
her
been
last
fantastic.
Week.
Fantastic.
She really is, dude. Super underrated. I even talked about it last week how good women's wrestling is across the board, across all companies, and primarily, NXT. So give Zelina Vega a chance, folks. Give her a chance, WWE. Let's give her the ball. Let's see her run with it.
The man with 3 H's. Give her a chance, man.
You know what I'm saying? Triple H,
What's the worst that happens? They've done worse on TV.
Right, exactly. Don't let her lose in 3 minutes. She's the key point of the Dirty Dom Liv Morgan story for 2 weeks on Raw, main eventing, having good matches, and then you decide, all right, 3-minute squash, that's it, it's over.
Doesn't make sense.
Not a fan of that. Doesn't make much sense. What doesn't make much sense on the Raw side, good brother Jordan, is why Drew McIntyre just didn't apologize to the refs. He's still suspended, okay? We have no idea if CM Punk is actually medically cleared. Everybody, and us included, are expecting to see CM Punk and Drew McIntyre take place at SummerSlam, at least the first iteration of it. But what's cooking here, bro? Are we trying to keep Drew and him, apart for a little bit?
I think so. I mean, you keep playing the psycho card, and who's gonna stop a 6'6", 275-pound human? I don't think anybody. So it gives you an easy reason for them to split and not be near each other. And I hope CM Punk's cleared between him and Rhea Ripley. There's obviously they do a good job. Not really, you don't really hear anything. So we just kind of assume that they'll be cleared for SummerSlam because they're still involved in their storylines and it's weekly. But yeah, I think it's just a smart way to keep their distance. I'm sure with a few weeks before SummerSlam, we'll see them link back up, and I don't think it'll be the last brawl that they have before SummerSlam. One imagines that they had some sort of stipulation in that match too, if we're just playing, predictor. It's maybe a no holds barred, a last man standing type of deal. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I think right now it's a slow build. It's all slow burn.
Yeah, and this has been a slow build since before WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, we've been doing this. We have been doing this for quite some time. So hopefully the payoff comes here at the biggest party of the summer out there in Cleveland, Ohio. I think, Jordan, I'll fantasy book with you a little bit. I have a funny feeling that because of what we saw with CM Punk at Money in the Bank with Drew and the Seth Rollins Priest match, do you think Seth Rollins will cost Punk this match?
I want to say I want to also say I kind of hope not, but at the same time, it's all the storylines are intermingling. Like, I'd rather maybe one story finished up and then we move to the next one, but it seems they like to have two stories, going at the same time within a group of people. So I think he's going to end up doing it. I don't want him to, but I think we're going to see Seth Rollins call CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is going to get a little bit of revenge. Yeah,
and I think you send that right to Bad Blood. Triple threat at Bad Blood.
Oh, maybe a First Blood.
That's what I'm saying. See, I said that on Twitter one night. I may have been a little off the libations, as they say.
Just a couple.
And it was late night. I was a little, the eyes were a little low. You know what I'm saying? And I said, how dope would it be to see Punk and Drew go at a first blood match? And I had, some of my followers were kind of like, well, he's already bled. He's already made CM Punk bleed. But that's the point. He's already made CM Punk bleed, but Punk has yet to make Drew bleed. So, in turn, we could see a first blood match. I mean, it's a great stipulation. We haven't seen it in how long?
Not only that, that's a stipulation where Drew McIntyre doesn't have to get pinned, and theoretically could still stand tall while being a bloody giant Scottish psychopath. So you could kind of play into it. Like there's definitely a lot of good to come out of the match like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I know at the press conference, a reporter had asked, CM Punk, like, how about a Hell in a Cell? Do you think they approach the Hell in a Cell at some point? Because I don't think so. I don't think Punk at this age in his
too
career
much risk
can do that.
Yeah, same with Drew McIntyre. Like he's not, I wouldn't say he's a spry chicken. Like I think he's obviously still got a ways to go in his career. But that for a match, first blood, you can, duck yourself and give a little.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot less injury risk than slamming off the cell. Maybe like a spot where they're climbing, like halfway up one of those deals. I think it's less risk, and it still could look fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm with you, man. I think the first blood would be for me personally, I think the first blood is one that we should get at some point. I also think you could throw in a 3 stages of hell. Great stipulation. Another one we haven't seen on the main roster in quite some time. We've seen it in NXT a few times over the last couple
That fatigue meter
years.
will be all the way up on CM Punk. We may not see him wrestle for months after that. Holy smokes.
And that's the scary part, though, with CM Punk, right, is he got hurt on just a freak thing, right? He took the Future Shock DDT in the Royal Rumble, and boom, the triceps.
It's just how it goes sometimes.
So it's scary. It's scary to think
it's the most random things. The most random things. It's crazy what causes injuries and what doesn't. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, time will tell, and I think WWE is definitely keeping it under wrap. I think he's cleared. They don't want to tell us. They want that surprise.
They want you guessing
on Raw. Yeah, absolutely.
They like playing into that.
Another guy here, dude, that I think, we're talking about guys that are in their prime and Drew McIntyre. We're talking about guys that are maybe a little bit out of their prime with CM Punk. How about a guy who has yet to even enter his prime? That is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, my dude. Is he not the future of WWE?
First and foremost, we have to shout out the most important fact. Is that it all started in Baltimore when he was a Baltimore Raven. So shout out to my Ravens, shout out to Braun Breaker, fullback for the team for like 2 weeks.
Was it really just 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was a cup of coffee, as they say in the streets. Damn. It was a cup of coffee. But no, he's the absolute best. His promo game is improving every week. From what it seems like, he absorbs a lot of information. I mean, I've only read a few things, but it seems like he's very willing to learn. And as a young guy, that's the biggest thing. Like look at Gable Steveson. He's the prime example of just because you're a freak athlete doesn't mean it's going to pan out in the WWE. So it's nice to see that they're properly taking the right steps. They didn't thrust him into a world championship picture right away. It was a slow build. They're squashing people. It's the same shit, but it's over. It's over as hell. So don't change the formula with him. The one thing I would change is the stupid damn theme songs that they keep giving him. Give him the first one back. It was the best one. That's all you need to do with him. Let him show up, spear somebody at 23 miles an hour as a human, and let the man run roughshod on Monday Night Raw.
Well, you brought it up, and while we're on the subject of it, dude, Def Rebel will pay for their crimes.
Def Rebel's making me go deaf.
That's the whole reason. Like, listen, the reason why their music is awful is because it's in the name. They're deaf. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They changed Sheamus's theme from Too Many Limes. I don't even Written in My Face or whatever the song title is. But like, dude, are you kidding me? Fans were so happy to hear that, and then you go ahead and you're like, dun, 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 generic Irish music.
But
like,
it's so weird. It is so weird that they can come together with songs like even AJ Styles. Like at first, I wasn't sure about the song, but it kind of grew on me.
Don't want nothing.
After that, when you get through to the chorus part, it's not that bad. So like they have a couple of songs where I'm like, all right, I mean, what the fuck are we doing? Excuse my French.
No, you're going off with Mike. Don't worry. The president of Boom Broadcasting, Michael Davis, will not fine you and make you put money in the swear jar like he does to me. So you're good.
Please don't. Save my bank account, Mike. Please. But damn, dude, it's like they do throw out a couple of good songs where it's like, all right, their brains maybe are into this, but I don't. If Triple H, you listen to the fans, man. Get the F rid of them.
get rid of Def Rebel. Please. That's all we're asking for. Like, just their contract is supposed to expire at the end of this year. Don't renew it.
Send them back.
Do not renew the contract, please.
But, at the end of the day, Braun Breaker's the type of dude, you can have patty cake, batty cake playing. He's still going to beat your ass. Like, he is a bad dude. So, I mean, the future is beyond bright for that man. And the next 12 months of him running roughshod on Raw is going to be one hell of a fun watch on TV.
You know what? Fuck it. Braun Breaker's new theme song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
it.
dude, who's gonna fuck with him? Who's gonna mess with
Nobody.
him? Nobody.
Dude, I love that. That's killing me, dude. Braun Breaker is the future. Jordan, what title this year is Braun Breaker winning? Is he winning the Intercontinental Championship? Yeah. Or are they going to slow build him to 2025 for that title?
Nah. I think Intercontinental title is a good way to go with him. It's a mid-card. Like, he's not going to be, like, you don't need him to be at the top of the card with that kind of championship. He could still put on a good match. It's proven. Like, he can go. He could still build. He could keep taking his advice and keep, building on top of what he's done. And I think the Intercontinental Championship's a perfect run. Let him hold it through a WrestleMania. Let him hold it through a pay-per-view. Let him get a signature win on a big pay-per-view against somebody in a singles match. Having him and Ilya go at it for a while. Like, why not? You have guys. Use them.
And speaking of, it looks like Sammy, Ilya, and Braun are all embroiled in this.
Yep.
Are you expecting some triple threat action at SummerSlam?
So, I mean, I hope so. That's a match I want people to get involved with because, they don't really, it's not two separate rivalries. It's all three of them fighting for one championship. It's not, I feel like Rollins, it was two completely separate rivalries and they got intertwined with each other. This has been one continuous thing going. And you had Gable involved too, but now it's just down to these three guys. But I absolutely would love to see them put on at SummerSlam because I think they have one of the best matches.
If Ricochet was still with WWE. Now, we honestly don't know, what the situation is, right? More than likely, he's signed elsewhere. But if he's still with WWE or in some capacity, I would expected him to be in this match, right? Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, you're hitting us with the AEW over here. I love it. All right, Brett. The Hitman Jordan. We'll get you one. We'll get you some black and pink,
on one
bro.
right
We
now.
got you.
I'm on
He's
one.
on one. That's why we love good brother Jordan. He brings the energy, folks. We're gonna get him on a nightcap one of these nights, but
love it.
I gotta get him off this dial-up internet he's rocking, dude. I gotta get him out of the annex.
We got Walmart Wi-Fi over here. We're trying to build. We're trying to build. Okay, we're trying out here, people.
We're trying to build. He was supposed to be on the nightcap for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Right? It was Money in the Bank or Heat Wave. You're supposed to be on.
No.
So.
Oh no, Heat Wave.
Yeah, Heat Wave. We were supposed to talk some NXT, but I'm glad Jordan could make the time here, man. It's great to have you, man. Yeah, I love you.
Always,
much
my
love to you.
brother.
Always,
much
and
love,
forever.
brother.
In case you're listening, in case you're watching at home, this is just me and Jordan just catching up. That's what this episode primarily will be about. So there's no set itinerary.
UMFers got to deal with this. We're playing catch up, and it's your problem.
Exactly. We're playing catch up, and I figure might as well throw the red light on, put it on the record, and get out there. You know what's scary right now, though, Jordan? The Wyatt Six. And it has been scary. It has been enthralling. It has been thought-provoking, and it's been sad. This week, my man, I know you saw it. Eric Rowan had his chance at therapy with Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas.
That was heavy.
And
that was heavy.
Super heavy. Absolutely. What do you think? First of all, let me back things up. What are your thoughts? Because we haven't really chopped it up about this except in passing. Are you enjoying the Wyatt Six?
Yeah, I mean, this is what makes WWE what WWE is when they take wrestling completely out and they have you sucked in because of what other people have gone through, and it's with Triple H, it's become, the people are very open. Like, they'll tell you, you know a lot about the wrestlers' lives a lot more now than we did a long time ago. So to hear Eric Rowan, that seemed as legit can be. He lost two of his best friends, two of his brothers, felt lost, and Uncle Howdy held his hand down and said, "Come with me." And it's scary and beautiful at the same time what kind of monster he's going to be too, because I've always been a big fan of Rowan. I like him. I think he's solid. He's a good big man. He doesn't have to win every match to be effective either, which is good to have on a WWE roster. But the Wyatt Six as a group, I mean, all of them they've been taking it very, very slow and letting all of their characters get individual shine, while at the same time coming together as a group when they need to. And I think it's been well done. I think it's been so well done.
Spot on. Spot on. That's exactly it. You hit the nail right on the head. They're giving every member individual highlights, but they're also, when they need to come together, they're nailing it as the cohesive unit. Dude, the Creed brothers have finally accepted Chad Gable's offer, and this has been months. I mean, this has been fantasy booked since the Creed brothers got called up, and then it really became a thing over these last couple weeks and months with Chad talking to them in the background of these set camera shots, which is also something I'm really enjoying by WWE, is the Easter eggs in the background with everybody's segments.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the Wyatt Six.
It's crazy.
But everyone.
Never happened.
Never.
Now you see 4 different people, 3 different people, 2 different. You see people in all these. It's crazy how they're doing it.
You know, we had Sonya recruiting women at one point, and then look what happened with that. You had Chad recruiting the Creed brothers. But notable person missing, Ivy Nile. So maybe Ivy Nile does not feel the same as the Creeds do about Gable, and maybe she's holding off, and maybe she's going to go reunite with Maxine, and maybe they're going to kind of go do off their own thing.
I think maybe they're just going to let her string Maxine along and then properly get her enthralled in the group, and then boom. I think we're going to get that. I don't mind getting. Ivy's a little bulldog. I wouldn't mind her getting angry, so I'm with that.
I think she needs an element of something different, right? You know, she's been very
mix up the character.
supportive and exactly. And I think an attitude for her, I think she could definitely use it. She's got the look, right? She's got the
For
talent
sure.
in the ring. I think
For
big
sure.
fan of hers, her NXT run, you know, when she got the chance to showcase. So very good stuff here. Now, do you feel after what we saw where the Creed brothers decimated Bo Dallas, which 10 out of 10, Bo Dallas sold that. I thought they broke his back in 2.
Beat the brakes off that boy.
Just threw him all. He's selling like the rent was due 2 days ago, and he's got a late fee on his account. And then of course, you know, he just breaks down. He starts laughing. He starts, you know, he does the yeah, the Brody Lee shout out, and then here comes the family, and they get the hell out of there. Chad and the Creeds. I love this, dude. Do you expect to see the Creed brothers versus some variation of the Wyatt Six, maybe Rowan and Huskus? You know, let's call them, you know, let's Rambling and Huskus, or Mercy and Huskus, or do you see 3 versus 3 happening here?
I think we do see some sort of clash. I think it'll be. If I'm guessing, we're gonna have Bo, we'll have Rowan, and we'll have Dexter. But it's a situation where I don't want either group to lose right away. I would like both of them to keep, you know, being built, like they're fresh groups. Like the Creeds are now, that was their first night together, so you know they're going to be together about a month. And are they going to lose? Are they going to treat the Wyatt Six as a group that maybe it's okay to, like, you know, for them to take losses? Maybe Bo Dallas just doesn't take a pin kind of deal. I think it's gonna. I think the storyline's just going to keep building. It'll be solid. I think they'll put on a good match at SummerSlam. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's a situation where maybe both groups could have gotten a win first before clashing, but I think
maybe
we'll
see that on. Maybe we'll see that on Raw next week, where maybe we'll see the Creeds and the Chad Gable pairing, maybe tag team, get a quick win, and then maybe the Wyatt Six will, you know, unveil that they're challenging them. It's a very interesting dynamic because I don't think that'll have a conclusive winner because, like you said it, neither of these teams can afford the loss, but at the same time, wins and losses do not matter as much as they do in, say, like an AEW.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, especially with this group being so new and them being so dynamic, the Wyatt Six, like, I would imagine if I'm picking a team to lose, it would be them. They're so dynamic, and a lot of what's going to sell them is their stories anyway. So maybe for right now, it's, you know, take a loss here, take a loss there, and then at some point they're just going to go on this run. But yeah, I think it's still going to be really good. Don't get me wrong. I think it'll be a great story heading into SummerSlam. It's just, like I said, would have liked to see a win on both sides first.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree, man. You know, we'll touch on this real quick. Thoughts on this man right here, Damian Priest.
Come on, El Campeon.
El Campeon. What are your interest levels for Gunther and Priest at SummerSlam?
High interest. At first, it was medium, but then they've had some great back and forths on Raw, and I think Damian Priest, every time he's backed up and people said maybe it's not this time, he puts on a great promo, puts on a great match, and he's consistently been that good. And it's a testament to Triple H because it's not one of the staple, you know, it's not your Rollins, it's not your Reigns at the top there. It's two it's two fresher faces. Gunther and Priest haven't been on the main roster as long as them, but they both are now at the top of the card with a chance to shine with a world title match. I think they're going to tear the house down. If I'm picking a winner, I think we are going to see the Ring General as our world champion after SummerSlam. But especially, Priest got his signature win. Like, I think the run did exactly what it needed to do. So I think it's time to pass it off to Gunther for a long, fruitful reign. But I'm very excited. I think this could another match that could steal the show and steal the weekend. I think it should be great.
Hot takes tonight. I like it. I'm gonna hit you on the counter on that. Too early to tell. I think Priest squeaks it out just barely.
Okay.
And then I
like that. I like that.
I think they set up the rematch in Berlin just to set up Gunther with that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
You know what I mean?
I was just thinking of a big pay-per-view win. No, you're probably that could be right.
Either way, he is going to get that title at some point this year before the end of the year is up. But I did want to take notice of this with you, Jordan. Damian Priest told him, you haven't had any hard times in WWE. You haven't struggled. You've been handed everything. That might be some foreshadowing. They may send Gunther on the Cody Rhodes hard times trail, make him work his way from the bottom to the top, and maybe that Royal Rumble in Indianapolis.
Yeah, you know what the big difference, though, is with Cody and Gunther? Cody lives and dies on emotion.
Sure.
Gunther, and he said in his promo, he doesn't care. He's there to just beat you, win,
valid,
and go about his business. So I think in terms of their characters are slightly different, and he's already been dominating everybody. I think they just keep running with that. It's worked for them since his NXT UK days. So if it's me, maybe I'm going crazy, but like he said, man, he just wants to beat your ass and take the title.
That's it.
That's his story. There ain't no story to finish. That's it.
That's it. All right. I like it. I was just thinking. I was like, just a little foreshadowing.
I don't hate it though. I don't hate
everything.
I don't hate it at all. I thought Braun Breaker was going to win the Intercontinental title, and he took a loss. So listen, it ain't perfect. So he could absolutely lose, and I don't think it would really kill him, especially if it's for the world title. I don't think it's like a 10-1 football team losing their 12th game. It's like, all right, you lost, but you get up and you move.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still up.
You still got that playoff spot.
Hell yeah.
At the end of the day, so one
L,
you're
still one of the top.
ain't gonna hurt you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Shout out to the top dogs. My dog Jordan here. So we're gonna transition here a little bit. I wanna touch base on NXT. Jordan, how successful has TNA and NXT been in your opinion?
Oh, dude. I mean, it's been fantastic. I mean, so I would like to see maybe a couple of bigger names now go to TNA, since they've been very good with TNA bringing you the Rascals and Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace. But in terms of what they've done, TNA wrestlers didn't just show up and get jobbed out. You could say with the previous relationships they had, you rarely saw them win a match, and their title changed hands from AEW to AEW, not TNA. So,
glad you brought that up. Because
it feels
Moose is on record on saying that he feels WWE's partnership has been better than AEW's.
Yeah, no, and I think he's right, because the Joe Hendry thing has just blown up, and then he shows up in NXT and the place is shaking. I don't think in AEW, especially, I've been saying for forever they need to run smaller arenas for that more full feel, but I don't think it would have hit the same him showing up in an AEW versus him showing up under the WWE umbrella, especially when you have big events like a Royal Rumble later in the year. Because then, you introduce him slowly to the WWE crowd. You're slowly getting them familiar. Then you hit them with it at a big event like that. I think it's something like that to be fantastic. I want Moose to make the jump next. I've been longing and yearning for him to take the jump to WWE for forever. He's an absolute stud, and I'd like to see him go up against Oba. I think that's the match to make if you're, that's the dream match. But the TNA partnership's been fun, and I don't think it's over. I hope maybe we see a guy like Santana even get a chance to make the jump with guys like Ethan Page and Sean Spears. Get those roads crossed. The former AEW guys again doing the little Spider-Man. You're here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be awesome, and they're not done yet. It's just getting started.
No. Yeah, 100%, dude. You hit the nail on the head. Imagine what it's going to sound like when Joe Hendry comes out at number 10 in the Royal Rumble, and that place goes absolutely
his name,
nuts.
He appears.
And,
dude,
I also love that they were doing that on NXT. Vic Joseph's like, maybe Joe Hendry will, make an appearance, and then here comes Joe Hendry.
It's awesome.
And then Gallus,
Book.
I did it. I said his name.
It's the best.
And Book's like, oh, God, what's he
it.
doing here?
I love it.
Booker T, dude. Booker T
He's
has
so
no
funny.
idea what's going on. He's just vibes.
He's loving life.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Shucky ducky quack quack. Shout out to Booker T. Joe Hendry, fantastic. Jordan is right, I think. The TNA partnership is far from over. It is flourishing. It has been incredible. Give me Josh Alexander coming on over. Give me Mike Bailey making an appearance. I'd love to see Santana. That's a name I didn't even put on the radar, so shout out to good brother Jordan. Yeah. Give me some more TNA knockouts making an appearance in NXT, like a Giselle Shaw. She's one of the top women in TNA.
I like that.
Wouldn't be mad at that.
No,
maybe an Alicia Edwards, a system takeover.
Yeah, send the system. I wouldn't mind the system beefing. Gallus seems to be the gatekeepers of any faction that want to cross that bridge, so maybe they find themselves a female counterpart and they do business.
We know the No Quarter Catch crew went over to TNA for TNA on Thursday night. We know those tapings happened. We know Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Jordan Grace was the first to open the portal, which great person as the first.
Oh, she's the best. She's the best.
The first one to come through. She was the right decision.
I can't wait for her to show up at the Rumble too. She'll be bound. She's WWE bound, and she's gonna kill it there, man.
Yeah,
she's gonna kill it. Triple H loves her type of wrestler. Talk to me.
Camille.
Oh, dude, I thought she would have been a lock. That's Triple H's picture perfect female wrestler.
Yep.
And it's crazy because she gets signed. She got signed at the top of the year, and what are we doing? Deonna Purrazzo. What are we? Sorry, I don't want to get caught doing that.
No, we'll get into it here. But you said his name, not Joe Hendry, but the ruler of NXT, Oba Femi. We just talked about how Braun Breaker's the next guy up. You've got another next guy up to the next guy who's up. And that's Oba Femi, dude. How incredible is this guy, man?
You can thank one thing.
Special.
One introduction that WWE did that'll arguably change their business forever is that NIL program.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
All these studs at a fraction of the prices what their mid-carders were. And you could probably get 5 to 6 NIL studs at 25, 26-year-old. Moldable clay. It's a new business to them, so they're not set in certain ways. Like, they'll be open to teach. It's not the same, I think it was Britt Baker said a long time ago, same cookie cutter stuff. Like, they've done a good job giving all these different athletes different characters, and they're all going to be naturally good at wrestling in a quick time just because of their athletic ability. So I think it's a testament to what the NIL program's done and what they've done what WWE's done with these kids. But Oba Femi's fantastic. The funny thing is, which I didn't know, is he has that Kofi Kingston effect, where if you listen to Level Up, no accent, and I never knew that until recently, so I love it. But his character is awesome. His themes, him dancing before he beats you up, it's almost like the Braun Breaker thing, where you can give him the cupcake theme song, and he's just gonna beat you, take his title, call it a day. And he's like you said, he's next up, so it's not going to be long before we see him tearing it up on the main roster too. I think he's still got, polish his in-ring work, keep polishing the promos. You don't got to rush him, but he'll absolutely. 2025, I think, is where we'll see Oba Femi, get to the main roster and assert his dominance.
I think that's a good shout. I think end of 2025, beginning of 2026 would be the ideal situation for him, because I don't think he leaves NXT without at least holding the NXT championship once. He has to hold that title. There's no way he can just be a North American guy. But, I mean, then again, who do you really have to beat him in the North American Championship division? Wes?
Why not Wes? I mean, I love Wes. The Rascals are some of my favorites.
I love them too.
It was such a beautiful thing to see them, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, he's one of those ultimate underdogs. He's a Daniel Bryan. He's a Rey Mysterio type. Like, he kills it on the mic. Like, it's Rick. I would say Ricochet never. I wouldn't say always got the best promo opportunities, but I almost think of him as a Ricochet that can cut a promo. Like, the dude is immensely talented, and whenever he gets a chance on the stick, the people are buying into what he's saying. Like, I'll never forget his promo before going away with injury. Like, he had people crying in the crowd. Like, he gets people. Yeah. He gets people invested. So I wouldn't mind Wesley doing it, but obviously I think they're going to try to find another big dog to beef with Oba, and I think we'll see a beefy North American champion beat him. You know what I'm saying? So
I need it. I think you hit the nail as well. Moose is a guy you want to keep an eye on. I don't think he'll beat him, but I'd like to see them two go at it. I know there's been some call outs on social media in the past.
Do a one-on-one. Do a 1-on-1. Have
Incredible.
a title match on TNA, title match on NXT. Send over there. I think that could be a great thing that they
I
could
ain't
both
mad
do.
at that. I mean, we got
No,
Slammiversary
have
that
them
just
cross
happened
defend
last
belts.
night, so
Have them cross defend. Actually, I mean, I guess if Moose has got a main event, then you can't. But I wouldn't have minded TNA title being defended once. TNA guy wins. WWE goes and defends there and wins. Like, yeah, why not? Crazier things have
that's
happened,
fair.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the time of this recording, folks, we are a few days prior to Slammiversary, but when you hear this, it will be the day after Slammiversary. So I don't know who's walking out of that elimination TNA Championship, the champ. My money is on Joe Hendry, but they could sneak it out and maybe Moose retains, or maybe Josh Alexander regains. It's a very interesting setup. At the end of the day, last thing on the WWE side, we'll get your final thoughts. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, SummerSlam. The Bloodline 2.0 is hot right now. Jacob Fatu is an absolute animal. Talk about another guy who is an animal.
Oh yeah.
What happens here? Do you see Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam?
The easy answer
And
is
this
yes.
is early.
The easy answer is yes, and signs kind of point to it. Paul Heyman was taken out, so like I feel like he's gonna have a triumphant return. Solo keeps making those references. If he wants it, come take it. He's the tribal chief. He ain't the tribal chief. Sidebar. I think the Cody, not really a sidebar, but the Cody bloodline stuff in general, it's just been such a long story where it almost, you're waiting for it to end and get to the next step. But I think Jacob Fatu is going to also turn at some point, whether it's SummerSlam when Roman returns or not. He's also, when he was talking about when Paul Solo was talking about Roman Reigns and doing his promo, you see they do that zoom in on Fatu, and just something about the way that they zoomed in on him, they made the references, and it's like I think he has him playing that side, and I mean, Jacob Fatu should be the star of Bloodline 2.0 if it was to be the case that he should stay. Like I think he's head and shoulders above the other three. Not to take anything away from him, I think he's just that damn good.
Oh yeah.
But I think he benefits so greatly teaming up with Roman. It would just be so cool to see. You could all, I mean, what they do, it's another chapter. I'm just curious to see where they take it because it's been going so long. That's kind of where I said it's just like let's see. Like I don't feel indifferent. Like I don't feel bad about it. I don't think it's like the greatest story on the planet, but it's just like it's a long ride they're taking you on. It's that slow burn.
Yep. You're 100% right, because where do you go from here, right? We obviously know that Roman is going to need his version of the bloodline. That's what everyone is claiming that's going to happen. But I could see something happening where Solo and Roman are face to face. Solo's got Tama, Tonga, and Jacob by him, and then Roman just puts his fucking one up, and then the three of them just walk to his side and stare down Solo, and like, now what? Where's your family now? Like, I could see them pulling some shit
There's
like
a lot
that,
of
where it's
different
like,
plays. And it's hard, especially with the way he treated the Usos, the way it broke off with Sami Zayn. People are like, oh, yeah, they could all just link back up and set up the 4-on-4. Yeah, it's like Roman would have to do some hell of an apology to be able to get them back on their side. And it's, the numbers game, it would make sense if you were to get, the Usos, Sami Zayn back in the fold with Roman. You have the 4-on-4 with Tonga, Tama.
Yeah, of course.
Jacob, and Solo. But, yeah, like it's kind of hard to predict. There's a few different nuggets that they sprinkled in there. All in all, you asked me if I think Roman Reigns will be back. I do think we see him at SummerSlam, though. And I think that's where we get the next advancement into Marvel Series X, the Bloodline Civil War 2.
I love it. We had Bloodline Civil War 1. Now we're going to get Civil War 2.
Yeah.
And poor Cody Rhodes is just stuck in the middle of the Samoans beefing. Poor guy wants to fight the Bloodline. Now he's got to fight the fake ass tribal chief Solo Sikoa. And you already know Roman, when he regains his tribal chiefdom, he's coming back for Cody and that title. So poor Cody Rhodes will never be free of the Bloodline. And that's when I said to the people, don't be surprised if Cody and Roman becomes the Edge John Cena of this generation.
It's different. I just think there's a different thing when it's a 1,500-day title reign and people to a certain extent just didn't want to see him with the belt anymore. I really think you got to stretch it before he wins the title again if he's going to win that same title.
Absolutely.
And not only that, it's tricky because then if he wins, it's almost like everybody's gonna. What are we gonna get, another 1,500-day reign? Like, is it gonna be one of them
Yeah,
quick like,
what's
3-month reigns? Yeah, it's
like
so his
how's this gonna
championship.
work?
Yeah, his championship reign now that it's like it's yeah, it's
It's
so
tough.
it's
It's
yeah,
tough, right? It's a
it's
very
hard to
tough
gauge.
booking
Yeah,
because you like you just
it's
said he
tricky.
had a 4.5 year title run. If he comes back and wins the title within the next like year or two, let's just say, how long is that title? Like, because if he loses it in 3 months, then what was the whole? Then you can
Exactly.
argue the bloodline
Yeah,
was the only reason why he kept it, or if he
yeah,
still has a bloodline. It's tough, dude. It's interesting.
tricky.
There's a lot, folks, on this story, and I feel like people overlook it, and they, especially, the people who don't like Cody Rhodes. But I think Cody really is helping this story along as well. Because I don't
He
think,
is.
without
He is.
Cody, I don't think the people are going to boo Solo as hard as they are.
No,
And the
Cody is
bloodline.
still as over as he is. Like, people say he's stale, he is this, he's that. No, he's the best face that they have. Like, he is the face of their company. He's been his merchandise sells, his promos are great. Every time he gets in the ring, he'll give you a good match. He is currently what they need in that baby face. So I think he plays a great hero to any villain on the roster as long as that villain holds up their end of the bargain. And I think the Bloodline do it. I think they, like you said, he makes the Bloodline hated more. So
Mm-hmm.
it's another one of those situations where I like it, but it's been a while, so it's almost just like what's next. You're
There's
almost just
got to be
waiting to see.
somebody
Yeah.
else out there for Cody. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're all waiting for Randy Orton and him to have some sort
Look at
of
Monday Night
beef.
Raw. It feels like everybody. It feels like you can have 7 to 8 different guys around that world title picture at any time, and it's just been the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes over on
Yeah,
SmackDown.
there should be other people. You have an Andrade, you've got Mello there. You've got most of the bloodline, right? Obviously, you have Solo. But other than that, you got a Corbin. I don't know if Corbin is in that. It's tough to put him back in a world title picture, but
Yeah.
I do like him in the mid card.
Me too.
You have an LA Knight, obviously him and Logan Paul. So very interesting. I like your thoughts here, Jordan. This is why you're a good brother. But we got to take things all elite, my brother. We got to talk about AEW. 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 People like a wrestling.
Fuck.
What's your biggest pet peeve? What's your biggest ick?
What is
People
the
like
biggest
in
ick?
wrestling.
People like
Specifically
wrestling.
AEW.
AEW.
Shut up, bitch.
Shut up, bitch!
That's a good one. Oh, that's a classic. That's a good one.
Speaking of shutting up, bitch, Tony Schiavone on commentary hit us with the "just speak, bitch" regarding Mariah May, who dressed up like Tony Storm on
Her
Dynamite
twin.
200.
Her twin.
Her twin.
That
Thought it was Tony.
crazy. Yeah, me too.
Insane.
It was so well
Mariah
done.
May.
She's a future.
Incredible, dude. One of the best signings in AEW's women division, outside of Tony Storm and the boss, the CEO, excuse me. Dude, Mariah May and Tony Storm, this story, Haley called it from day one. The Mrs. Mouthing Off with Mike called it from day one. She said it was going to be the understudy turning on the leading lady. And look what we got. We got pure cinema. Legitimate cinema here.
From day one, she's wanted that world title. She knew what she was doing from the get-go. From the first promo she cut, she knew what she was doing. She wanted to rub shoulders with the champ. She wanted to be as close as possible, play her game, dress up as her. And and Tony Storm thought she was going to get a beautiful little celebration with her understudy, celebrating that Owen Classic. Done. And people argue it's, do you need that much blood for a women's feud? But listen, women bleed.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, women bleed. Like, they're
Yeah.
humans too. They fight. So it's like, it added that extra element to it. Oh, shit. Like, Tony, I think the title changes hands. It'll come all in. And I think Mariah May, might be my personal favorite right now in AEW. I think I've told you my feelings on Miss Monet. We don't need to get into it. I think she clears her personally, but I think their story in general might be the best story that AEW has right now.
I think their story might be one of the best women's stories in AEW's 5-year history.
Oh, easily, for sure. It feels like
Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, right?
Oh yeah, they were great. It almost feels like that Sasha Bailey, like when she finally turns on her, fans are just like, oh my god. Yeah, it's like the best friends. It's like you never expect it, but sometimes best friends make better enemies.
Look at Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Look at Ciampa and Gargano. The list goes on and
Yeah.
on and on. And speaking about two guys who are mortal enemies here, we saw for the first time in God knows how long with AEW, about 2 years, we saw a match go the distance. I'll call it 60 minutes. The match ended at 58.
The streets are calling it 59-56.
minutes.
The streets are calling it 59-56.
They're
don't
calling
shoot
it
me.
59-56?
Leave me alone, sir. Leave me alone,
Really? 59-56?
59-58. I've seen it 59-59.
Yeah, I saw 59-58.
People are getting real peculiar with the time, so we got to be factually correct here. People are going to come for the heads.
Oh, boy. I'm not worried about them. Let them talk. I let them talk to the wall. You're not going to get that reaction from me. I'm all about positivity in wrestling. Like, I'll talk about it. I'll critique it, but it ain't like I'm going to bash it or I'm not going to go
I'll talk my shit. Fuck.
doom and gloom.
I'll talk my shit. Fuck them. Fuck them.
The enforcer. I can't say that. Two heads, one table will get upset at me, but I got my bodyguard.
The muscle.
He's
big
the
man.
Diesel to
Yeah.
my Shawn Michaels. You know what I'm saying?
5'9" version, 5'10" version.
But that's all right.
Yeah,
You're taller than
same
me,
but
big
different.
brother.
Same but different.
Same but different.
Same
Still,
but different.
still taller than at least the person you're protecting.
Yeah, that works. That's fine. That adds up.
I'm a short king. Jordan's a medium height king.
Yeah,
It
works.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this MJF and Will Ospreay match, I got to get your thoughts on it. I saw a mixed bag. I personally loved it. I was ready to pop off my shirt. I was sweating. I bullets, dude. I had sweat just down my body. I was, whew, this one made me feel some things, but a lot of people did not like it.
Yeah, we briefly I don't know. I don't hate it. I didn't hate it, but like I said, it was a lot. It was a lot. And my main thing is, like I said, I think we're just trained like the way we've been watching wrestling for forever. Is it felt like they each had 100 finishers, like 100 finishing moves on a video game, and they could just R1, and they just kept like I said, second rope styles clash, the diving hidden blade, the second hidden blade, the crossroads. And it was just like
the heat seeker.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was just so much. And both of them just didn't need to lose. And like I said, I think Will Ospreay is a better representation of what the international title is. I don't love that his shtick recently is to just lose. And MJF, as we've said, hates Japan, hates Mexico. Like, he's not an international guy. Like with Will Ospreay, the SGW people in Uganda said they wanted him to go. He could wrestle back home. Like, I thought it was great. Obviously, it was one of their better matches of the year. Like, for sure, they both put on. Like, I'm not taking anything away from that. It was just something felt off about it. So I definitely get people's gripes, but the flat out hate it. I think it's just silly. Like the match, you can say the match was long, but it served its purpose. They were both done by the end of the match.
I'll agree with everybody. The match was long, but I think that the match was good. Now, do I think that they could have cut the match by 5-10 minutes? Sure, absolutely. What I will say is that people saying, well, this was a terrible match and this didn't do anything. I mean, this opened up more doors for rivalries in AEW, right? I personally think that this sets up Danny Garcia at All In Wembley to win that title. And I think this also frees up Will Ospreay to go chase the world title down the line. Everybody knows you're going to get Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson, part two on that one?
Yeah, I think
so if Danielson beats Swerve, you're going to get Danielson Ospreay at some point down the line. More than likely, Ospreay is Danielson's retirement match. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great opponent for him to go. Like, listen, Ospreay's fantastic. He's one of the best in the world, and I think it's fitting that somebody who's been revered as the best in the world for a long time, goes out on his shield, goes out like every legend should. And I think he loses to Ospreay. Yeah, I think he loses to Ospreay, and I think it's going to be one of the harder hitting matches of his career. I think he's going to literally lay every bit of his body into that match, and it's going to be something special for sure. That's a match I'm excited to see.
It's a sad time in wrestling, folks. We're going to see the retirement of John Cena take place the next year. We're going to see Bryan Danielson retire within the next, probably 6 months. Maybe a little bit longer, but I don't see him being past 2024.
Don't forget guys like the Hardys, Edge, Christian. Like, there's so many guys They're not.
Orton,
It's not
Styles.
2007, 2006 anymore, man. It's sad, but it's also, you know what? It's fulfilling too. Like we started with a lot of these guys as kids, and it's crazy. It's a generational change.
It is. That's very valid. Now we're seeing the guys that are our age
It's the next
getting
up.
their opportunity, which is
up.
really cool. The one thing I will say that I will critique AEW on, so the AEW people may come for me, I do not feel excitement for Blood and Guts.
Okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, if there was a way we can get less than -10, it's how excited I am for Blood and Guts. I mean, maybe I'm missing. Maybe I'm missing something, dude. But what is going on with this guy Okada sweating over the CEO dance and the
comedy? The same thing people were worried about if he went to WWE. The same thing they said he was going to become in WWE, has become in AEW.
They give him the Continental Championship, hasn't done dick with it. Like, it's. Then you have the Bucks. I'm over the tag division used to be what AEW's bread and butter was. That's long gone. And Jungle Boy, I'm trying to say this respectfully without going off the rails cursing. I'll just say I couldn't care less. I'm just not a Jack Perry guy. I think showing the video never really did anything. Like people say, oh, it launched him into the next stratosphere. It made him a star. The video, him and CM Punk, whatever happened there, bullshit. He's 5'10", 110 pounds or whatever. Like he's got the scraggly beard like I had. Like he's just not believable. Like he just doesn't come off as a believable threat to me. Like a guy like Bryan Danielson, he's a believable smaller guy that will beat your ass. I don't get that with Jack Perry, and I'm just not excited. It just doesn't do it for me.
And WWE's, I'm worried WWE's going to fall into this too with the War Games match. Both of them are booking it for the sake of the event, but not the rivalry, I feel. Because I don't think the Young Bucks, Hangman, I don't think these teams needed to be in Blood and Guts. Now, I understand the Acclaimed, the Bucks, they've got beef. Hangman Swerve has beef. Darby, Jack Perry has beef. Mark Briscoe and Okada don't really have beef.
Nah,
but let's say they do. The team itself is funky. It's just a weird team on paper.
And you have 3 champions. You have your tag team champions, your TNT champion, and your Continental champion, all not defending the title. Then you have your ROH.
And Swerve. Don't forget Swerve.
Oh yes, and your world champion. So it's
the world champion. It's a weird team.
Yeah.
Swerve, Darby, Briscoe, and the Acclaimed.
And at least with I don't hate the Acclaimed. I hate Max Caster. Save that for another time. I want to stick to this point. But at least with War Games, you have the story's going to be it's going to be a bloodline. So, it's going to be some semblance of the bloodline. So it's like the story's there. There's no effing story here. It's the team A. No, it just doesn't move. It'll probably be a good match. It'll be fun.
AEW stopping Team Elite from taking over the company, but they already took.
They
over
own the company.
They own it. It's too late for that.
It's their thing. So
it's confusing. I'm excited for I think the match will be cool. Great entertainment, right? But as for me, looking at it a week in advance, I'm like, okay, cool, Dynamite. I think AEW Dynamite the last 3 weeks has been fire. Put it up against any wrestling show, the last 3 weeks, and it's right there. You know what I mean? It's a top dog in my rankings. I hope the streak continues. I hope they prove me wrong with this match, and it ends up becoming a plot device for guys like Hangman, for Swerve, for Briscoe, for Okada, for everyone involved. It has to end up being a plot device for something. And I spit this on the nightcap Wednesday night. Max Caster joins the EVPs.
I hate Jack Perry enough. No, I hate Max Caster. They just add to my detest for them. Ugh.
Great heel heat. Great heel heat.
I'm so out on Max. It's almost like that old Baron Corbin heat that people used to give him, where it's like, get the F out of my face before I put you through a table. It's kind of where I stand with Max Caster. I love Bowens. I think Bowens is fantastic.
I think Bowens
I love Daddy Ass. No Diddy. Daddy Ass is fantastic. But
please
dude,
no. Please no
not
Diddy.
a lick of
Please.
Diddy. Not a lick of Diddy.
Oh my God! Hey, yo. Cut.
No, keep it in. Maybe get views. Drive it up.
That's my kind of guy. He said for the views, for the fucking views.
Take the bullet. I'll take up. But yeah, nah, it's nah.
That's oh boy.
That's my final say on that. Yeah, that's my final say.
Wow. Well, Jordan, we're approaching here a nice lengthy edition of Mouthing Off with Mike.
Yeah.
This is always a good time, dude.
Was a good one.
Any final thoughts, final words that you want to get out for the people within the next 5 minutes? Let the people know what's going on.
Run this man's channel up. This man is giving you content after content after content after content after content putting on. Give this man his flowers. Show him the love you need to show him. And we're going to keep doing this. I'll be back. You'll be back. And let's just have some fun going into the summer. I think SummerSlam's going to be a good time. You know me. I mean, I'm trying to stick with AEW. I'm trying to, I've been watching, but I'm just excited. I mean, I just feel like a kid again. Wrestling's fun, man.
Absolutely.
So take it in stride and enjoy the damn summer, man. It's the summer.
That's
it's sunny. It's beautiful. It's
so fucking hot. It's so fucking hot.
Yeah. I mean, we're on different
everywhere.
coasts. You're right. It's humid. It's humid here. It's that dry heat there. It's big man weather. It's not big man weather anymore.
It's not big man weather.
It's not big man weather anymore. Long gone.
I love it, dude. I love
Long
Jordan.
gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan hit the nail on the head. Wrestling is fun. I talked about this last week, on the show when I was talking about women's wrestling. Wrestling is fun. Wrestling should be fun. We're not here to say like, oh, this guy, is awful. We're just bantering. We're talking about the
how we feel, man.
character.
We're fans. We're allowed to not
right.
like
we're
stuff.
fans.
Like,
we're talking about the character. We're talking about what we're seeing on TV. Right.
Can't
we're not
get that
butthurt.
butthurt.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. See,
take the emotions out. It's people talking.
Exactly. See, and I think that's the big problem you see is don't let people get you caught up in bad faith takes and engagement ass takes. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're still sticking with us, if you see me on Twitter asking questions, it is because I genuinely want to know the question. If you see me drop a poll, it's genuinely because I want to see what people's thoughts
You're
are.
open to learning, and that's what people need
I
want to
make a couple Elon Musk bucks. I don't care about the Musk bucks from Twitter.
But pay the guy.
I just want to see what?
I said, but pay the guy.
But, hey, you know what I'm saying? Jordan threw me off.
Sorry, money talks.
Money talks, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, just go out there and enjoy wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Mouthing Off with Mike. I am Mike. This is good brother Jordan. Any last words here, Jordan, before we get out of here?
Much love, my brother. This was so fun. This was awesome.
Much love, dude. I love you, dude.
Love you too,
this
man.
Is it. The bromance.
This was good.
The bodyguard.
I can't wait
got
for this.
We're
Clip the no Diddy. Post it. Let's go.
Post it. He said post it. Ladies and
Post
gentlemen, this has been an episode for the history books. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe if you want the Dirty Dom stash. If not, then no Dirty Dom stash. You got till July 31st. That's it. No more, no less.
Run it up. We got 2 weeks.
It's free to subscribe. Maybe when I hit 200, I'll give something away. We'll see. I gotta see if there's the financials are in order.
Yeah.
The way my bank account is set up is the check-ins and the check-in and the savings.
Checkings in this pocket, savings in this pocket, kind of nowadays, dog. God dang. Wow.
Tony Khan, if you're listening, just give us a job, dude. We'll work for bare minimum. Just give us a job.
The man with 3 H's.
We'll cook up some creative.
Bald man H. Come on.
Somebody let us cook. We're out of here, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Till next time.
Mouthing off with Mike. Mouthing off with Mike. Mouthing off with Mike.